Hello there, Kanika here in Tucson. I'm sure you've already heard part one of our episode on seasonal eating in India, especially northern India. If not, please do. Continuing from where we left off, in this episode, we will discuss autumn and winter foods. There's lots to cover, so let's get started. Sakshi, welcome.
Hi.
Are you excited to discuss this part of the year?
Oh, very. I love this part of the year in terms of fresh produce and this
Mm-hmm.
generally vegetables and fruits or something. I think everyone likes it, and I think this is the season when we really enjoy eating and savor the produce, and like winters with like sitting in the balcony, sitting in the sun and eating freshly cut salad or amrood with some namak on it. And
Yeah,
these are just some of the things that come to mind because there is so much. There are achars, there is saag, there is mutter, like sitting in the sun and peeling,
yeah.
de-shelling mutter.
I was just
My
going to say
family is
that,
doing
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Right.
Then mooli and parathas. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yes.
So it's not just produce. I think we our appetites are larger during this time, and
Yeah.
we eat a lot more during this time. So
Yeah.
that's what is really exciting. And then yeah, all that produce leads to some very nice recipes like sarson ka saag, or say some sort of saag
Yeah, the way of eating changes, right? You're
salads.
right. Like the way we eat changes. So from,
Mm,
repetition of the same vegetables in the summer to, the limb transition in the monsoon, like not a whole lot of change in variety. This is suddenly a burst of like a bouquet of flavors, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I think there is that hope that you're going to get something nicer to crunch and eat into
Right.
versus the same, Loki, Tori, and Bhindi of the summers.
Yeah, yeah. So what?
I can hear a lot of birds chirping in the
Yes,
background.
yes. It's so we're
Yeah.
recording this on the morning of 26th December. It's Boxing Day. That's what it's called, right?
Yes, that's right. It is Boxing Day. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not as it's starting to get colder here, but
Hmm.
I'm still waiting for that very North Indian kind of sardi that we also get here, but we get it later in January. But then that sort of eating has started for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I've already made gajar ka halwa once, but
Same
with
here.
orange carrots. With
Same
orange
here.
carrots, though.
Same here. Same
Okay.
here. Because we don't get red carrots. So I think the red carrots are a unique thing to the Indian subcontinent.
Yes.
I'm not very clear on the history of who developed them, but they are
Hmm.
a specific variety that pretty much doesn't grow anywhere else in the world.
Right. So I think from here, when I started getting it here, but I haven't
Hmm.
bought it. I've seen it listed, and so here right now it's coming from Pakistan, and they
Okay.
also love Pakistan. Pakistanis also love gajar ka halwa. I remember
Hmm.
when I wrote the recipe for gajar ka halwa, I was trying to find out about carrots, and there was this article in the Dawn that I think I reference in that article.
Hmm.
So, and I do try to touch on what kind of carrots, there were purple carrots and there were orange
Hmm.
carrots and all that, and they, I think, mix the varieties. But anyway, carrots are not the only root vegetable available. There is so much more. What can you think
Yeah.
of?
Yeah, I can think of mooli. So when you said mooli earlier, I just made mooli ke parathe the other day. And I
Yes, I
am
saw.
I yeah, yeah. And I purposely kind of ordered them because I am looking forward to eating these different things that I haven't been eating or enjoying as much while they were not in season. And
Hmm.
so mooli, I got shalgam in my order last
Oh
time.
yes.
Yeah, and then I also got like gobi. So I'm hoping that this gobi is different, maybe juicier than the ones that you get rest of the year. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, the mooli was great. The mooli was kind of sweet, not too spicy. Like it has that,
हाँ
typically mooli does have a spicy
हाँ,
aftertaste and
मूली कड़वी जैसे कहते हैं,
ha
मूली कड़वी है
ha. Nee, this was
और
sweet.
मीठी है. That's
Ha,
great.
this is
That's
really
a good
sweet.
one.
Yeah, that was a good movie. And I shalgam. So today I made the shalgam. Now this is a new recipe
Okay.
that I've learned. It's not something that comes from my house or I didn't grow up eating this. But I've been since we've been following Anita of a Mad Tea Party blog on Instagram. She makes Rajma Gogji. I hope I'm pronouncing
Yes.
that correctly. Yeah, the Kashmiri preparation of shalgam with rajma, with the small Pahadi rajma. So I did
Right,
that,
right.
and it's delicious, and it's different from the Punjabi rajma that we make with like pyaz tomato,
Yeah.
and it has no pyaz tomato, but it's still beautifully red.
Do you remember in 2019, you and I actually visited
Yeah,
Anita,
yes.
and she had Rajma on the table for us, and that was Rajma Gugji, right? Right?
Oh, no, I
Hai na?
I don't think it would be Gogji, was it? Because that would be out of
It
season.
right. We visited in July, so I
July.
think that was I felt like it was aloo, but I was so confused, and there was so much to talk about.
Huh.
So
We'll have
I'm
to look
thinking
up.
now what it
Yeah,
was.
I think we'll have to go back and look for the pictures because I'm pretty sure we have them.
Yes,
But yes, I
yes.
remember that was a really good meal and lovely conversation with her, and
Oh
even her
yeah,
husband
yeah.
who joined in for
Yes,
lunch
yes.
with us. Yeah,
That
and
was
the
great.
beautiful
Hopefully,
mangoes from her father's tree.
oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I remember
Yeah,
those also.
hopefully she'll join us on the podcast one day. Let's
I hope
see
so.
if we get in
I hope
touch.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
hmm,
Gobi. I had to say something about Gobi. So
hmm.
in our house, I know gobi is available all around the year right now, and you get it during summers also. And in our house, my mom or dad will not buy it, thinking that नहीं अभी इसका season नहीं है, ये cold storage की gobi है, so don't buy that, and it
Mm-hmm.
won't be good.
Huh.
And that used to be true, but now living in Dubai, I don't have that choice. If there is something there, I try it, and sometimes it's okay. It's come from another country. Like right now, gobi is coming from Spain. So back home in growing up in Delhi, I remember a little before the festive season starts, before the Navratras of October and all that start. Right before that is the Shraddh season,
Okay.
where you pay respects to people who passed away in your family and all that. So Shraddho ke time नई गोभी आती है, and
Oh.
that used to be on the menu at my nana nani's house, my mama's house now. That used to be menu of that meal that they used to prepare, and they used to call kids that come and eat that.
Uh-huh.
And I think I may have mentioned this in the last part,
Yeah.
but gobi is
Okay.
something that starts from there.
I see. That's interesting. So roughly what time of the year is that? Like in the
This would
post-monsoon
be
or fall season, when would that be?
September. September.
Okay.
So
So just
my
when you're heading into like autumn or fall.
Yes, yes. So there is that, and there is lobie ki fali and all that. But gobi starts from there. But then we will only make it in like gobi aloo or just plain gobi matar or something. Matar is, I think, omnipresent later months, and they
Hmm.
go with everything: aloo matar, gajar matar,
Right. Matar paneer.
everything. Matar paneer, gobi matar,
Yeah.
even shalgam matar. So shalgam in our house is
Oh,
made with matar.
I've never had that.
I'm
I've
not a
never had
fond of
that.
shalgam, so that's the reason I have not tried Rajma Gogji till now.
Okay.
But it looks good. I
Yeah.
think like I might have grown up to like that taste now. I don't
So
know.
actually, you know what? So shalgam was not really cooked in my parents' household either. Like it might have been cooked in my nani's house or in other family members, but my parents didn't really. So we never had like shalgam ka saag, which I think is quite common in northern India. People make
I've heard
that,
about it.
ghot ke usko, but I
Hmm.
had never had it. So for me, this shalgam is really quite nice. I've always had shalgam in the achar. So gajar gobi
Yes.
shalgam ka achar, that's something that was a very standard winter activity that my mother also continued to pursue for many years. So I think my
Mm-hmm.
dadi also does it or used to do it. I don't know if she's still doing it.
Hmm.
I think my nani also used to make a whole variety of achars. So,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom also. So she would,
Great.
so she would also
So
make it.
what goes into this achar? There is gobi, gajar, shalgam. What else?
Gajar,
Because
gobi,
I have.
shalgam. These are the main things. Then I think you can put lasan if you want. Like you can put whole lasan. If I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they put enough adrak in this. I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure, but I don't think so. I think this is gajar, gobi, shalgam, and then lots of lasan. And then
Hmm.
it is the masala that you prepare for it is cooked in
Mm-hmm.
mustard oil, and you
Hmm.
put a whole lot of good in it. So it is not.
Do
It's a
you?
khatta meetha, like namkeen and
Okay.
meetha. achar
So
and vinegar, a lot of vinegar.
okay, so there are two kinds of gobi gajar shalgam achar that I have in my family.
Uh-huh.
So one is the one you're talking about, which definitely has lasan, gourd, and
Yeah.
vinegar. So this
Yeah.
is one of my Tayaji's. I call him uncle,
Huh.
but they also live in Noida, and uncle makes a lot of DP uncle. He makes all sorts of achars and makes excellent food.
Okay.
So he makes that achar. So the lot of this
Mm-hmm.
variety comes from his house
Mm-hmm.
in winters. I'm not
Mm.
sure if he's well enough to make it these days. I
Right.
hope he is.
Huh.
But the other kinds is from my nanka, and
Okay.
that one has you'll be surprised. So that has matar ke chilke if they're tender.
Oh.
It has even aloo.
Yeah.
It has even do you know mungre?
Mungre.
Mungre. Do you know
No.
what that is?
No.
So I don't know. This might be funny. My mom used to explain it to me, saying ये मूली के बच्चे हैं.
Oh, I don't know that. What do they look like?
So they look like lobia ki fali. They're like tall, like long and thin.
Okay.
So these are like basically beans from the mooli plant.
Oh.
If you let mooli be in the ground, it produces this fruit, and that is what we call mungre. I'm sure uske aur bhi naam
That's
hote
nice.
honge.
So you let it flower and
Yeah, that's probably looking at January or something. So when you put achar during that time when mungre are available, sometimes you put that. So
I see.
just to list: gobi, gajar, shalgam, matar, aloo, and mungre. These are the things I can think of in that achar. And that has definitely rye, mustard oil, and what else? And a few other spices and all. But the vegetables here are like parboiled and then dried very, very nicely. And then you put it in that oil and whatever mixture.
Yeah, the process is the same even for the others. So you still have to parboil them. And I actually made gajar gobi shalgam ka achar last winter.
Wow.
So I still have half a bottle like still left. And I did the same thing, parboil them and then let them ideally dry them out in the sun in the open air. And then cook the masala separately, cool it. You don't want to put it in hot oil. Once the masala is cool and the vegetables are dry, and then you mix them up and then let them kind of put them in the sun as much as you can, like the bottle, actual jarred stuff, keep it out in the sun.
I wonder. So yesterday, I'm jumping onto sarson ka saag. Yesterday, for Christmas we didn't cook. We ordered food, and I ordered sarson ka saag from a restaurant called Chatori Gali here. Jiska tagline is only Purani Delhi ka swad or something like that. So they send that achar.
Okay.
They send a bit of that version.
Oh, along with the...
and it's that version. It's not the version you're talking about. Although I love that version with matti. The one you're talking about. It's really good.
Yeah. So maybe there is an old Delhi connection there because that's
maybe
like in Punjab, I have not seen what you're talking about. I haven't seen an achar with aloo in it, and I haven't seen an achar with any kind of greens in it.
Yeah,
like you're talking about the shell of the peas and all that. I've never seen that.
So, but the key in this version is that the vegetables have to be crunchy. So they're not really boiled as much, so they need to be crispy, and they're just, I think, very, very briefly put into hot water and brought out. And I think there is there's a greater chance of this version getting spoiled. But then the good thing about it is that in our house we make it, I think, in January. The good thing about is that you are preserving all that great produce for the next 3-4 months at least, if you make enough.
So so it does last that long?
It does last, and I think my mom isn't. She says she's not the expert on this version.
Okay.
My mamas are, and they make excellent version of this achar.
Okay.
But the thing is that if it sits for too long, also, then the vegetables sour even more, or khatte ho jati hain, or gal bhi jati hain. So that gets extremely khatta, and that's not very nice. So it's like, it is very, very seasonal, and it's like you have to finish it up
quickly. Yeah.
So this is there on our plates all of winters.
That's interesting. I do remember that there's another achar but I don't know I'm sketchy on the seasonality of it because that is nimbu ka achar, but like with nimbu, adrak, and
Oh,
hari mirch,
nice.
and just like a lot of salt and maybe some sugar, and it's not cooked at all. It's
Okay.
just allowed to sit out in the sun
Yeah.
and pickle like that. Yeah, but I'm guessing it's also a winter activity, although I'm not very clear on the time on that.
Yeah, even I don't know
Like,
when limes and lemons come. But citrus,
mm,
speaking of citrus,
yeah,
santre definitely come.
yeah.
Santra, and then later on quinoa. I
Hmm.
don't know what is Malta. I can't tell the difference between quinoa and Malta. Can you?
Not anymore. I don't think so. It's a hybrid kind of a variety, I think, developed because quinoa also is not grown everywhere, right? Like you don't get quinoa in the US, but you do get a whole lot of different varieties of oranges. So I know that there is a limited geographical region where you can find it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a post by Anissa Hello. I don't know how to pronounce her last
Anisa,
name.
hello. Yes, yes. I
Yes,
remember.
Anissa Hello. And she was traveling somewhere and she had posted a picture of a kino.
Okay.
I will have to go back and dig that up. But I love quinoa. Yes, I absolutely love them. And I know, again, their season is very short. You don't get them
Mm-hmm.
throughout the winters. And there's only a
Yeah.
specific area in India that grows them.
And speaking of quinoa, I'm also thinking of these radiya juice wale jo aate
Hmm.
hain. And they sell, either they come on like movable carts,
Cycles,
or
yeah.
they are stationed in mandis or markets or whatever.
Right.
So I definitely remember having a lot of orange juice and quinoa ka juice, and quinoa was all often meetha because santre, which is closer to I think clementine. So santre are like I think khatte hote hain kabhi kabhi,
Hmm.
but yeah, those are the juices I can think of. But I can also think of this beetroot and mixed vegetable juice with amla, ginger.
Even carrots, right?
Carrots, yes, carrots. Yeah, I tried making that once at home and it worked. It was very nice. It was a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it was good. So I get something here similar that is bottled.
Oh, so already like pre-mixed. Yeah, I think pre-mixed vegetable juices.
Yeah, but that's unsweetened, and that's like there's a company here and they deal with fresh produce and all that. So that's fresh juice, and I think the shelf life is like 2 days or something.
Hmm.
So there is a company called Barakat here, and they do a juice very similar to the mixed vegetable juice with amla, ginger, and all that. So they do a
Oh,
version like that, and that is just lovely, and that's like full of nostalgia for me. So that's something I have every winter
right.
here.
I remember like Delhi is kind of full of these juice corners. I remember seeing so many of them, and they're always very colorful with a lot of very attractive posters, and their boards are pretty
Yeah,
creative. I remember
I
those.
think I have a picture.
I think we even took pictures for our AV, one of our
Oh
AV
yes,
projects.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. So we should use this.
yeah,
Should
yeah,
show this to the world.
I know. Because they have an inclination to use these Bollywood faces, right? Almost caricaturish and very
Yeah.
intense gazes, right?
Yeah, and very contrasty sort of a
Yeah.
face. And they're often like there is a hero, there is a heroine, and all that. And there is like amazing font. So,
The fonts are beautiful.
yeah, my
Yeah.
brother was, I think, he's very into typography. And he found out something about that particular font.
Mm-hmm.
I'll maybe mention it in notes. I'll have to check with him. But the font that these painters in India use, it's much revered, and it's something that is recognized
Yeah.
by professional graphic artists and all that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's called painter font or something. I might be completely wrong. It's been many years since my brother told me about it, and I think that is when I was so enamored by quiche and
Pop culture, yeah.
and these images of Bollywood all around. And I think that's when we did that
Yeah.
AV, photography, audiovisual.
Right.
But that brings some great memories. And speaking of that, it also reminds me of other things available on cards. So I'll just list a few more things that I've eaten in like Chandni Chowk or generally on Redis. There are peanuts,
Right.
different
Yeah.
kinds, like shelled, unshelled.
Huh.
There is chicky, there is
Yeah.
popcorn, there is
Shakarkandi ki chaat.
Shakarkand. Oh my God, yeah, Shakarkandi ki chaat. That's also on the blog.
Yeah,
So there was
yeah.
this one time when my chachu from Canada was visiting, and my dad, and chachu, three of us went on a food walk, sort of a thing, and we would buy one thing, like one plate chola bhatura, but three of us will eat it.
Okay.
On the carts there, we ate star fruit with like spices.
Oh, I've actually never eaten that.
It's called kamrak.
Tamrak. Yeah, I've heard the name. I've seen it. I can recognize it, but I've never eaten it. So how did that taste?
It's khatta,
Okay.
but I think if you pick up a fruit that's ripe, it is, I think, more yellow. And that is somewhat sweet. And it's not like amla, but you know, the mouth feel and what
Okay.
amla makes you feel. It's somewhat like that, maybe.
Yeah.
I might be a little off, but it's been a while since I had it. But kamrak is something that's really delicious. And my mom tells me that growing up outside her school, there used to be these imli walas and kamrak wala and bear wala. I think you told me bear comes in
Oh,
winter,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, bear is more of a winter thing. Yes.
So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mother, and this is just coming to me, I had not thought of
Huh.
mentioning this in this particular podcast, but my mom tells me that they used to get a lot of scolding from Nani
I
after
see.
they came back from school because they had eaten so much imli.
Huh.
बिल्कुल जैसे दांत खट्टे हो जाते हैं ना. They would not eat food because their mouths were like, I don't know how to describe it in
Like
English.
saturated with
Yeah,
that
so
kind of.
she used to scold them like, hey, you've eaten too much imli and all that. But those
Yeah.
are the kind of things I think I can think of. What else? Can you think of any other things that we ate from carts?
From carts. Like I just remember, I mean, this has nothing to do with seasons whatsoever. But I remember eating a lot of momos in Delhi. And I think it's fun to eat them in the winters because
You
they
are
are
so
warm.
right.
Yeah, they come out nice and steaming because I don't know how, but these guys manage. But on their little cycles, like they would literally be on a cycle, and or maybe they would put up a stand next to their cycles, and they would keep the thing steaming. I don't know how they kept it hot and warm. What kind of stove they carried, I can't remember.
I think they had probably a little cylinder or something like that. But do you
something.
remember Lajpat Nagar mein momos from Dolma auntie?
I don't remember the specific
remember?
auntie, but I do remember eating.
I've definitely taken you
Okay,
there once.
okay. Yeah,
And they're pretty good. I don't know what you thought of them. I don't remember
no,
actually.
I love the momos in GK M Block Market
Yeah.
and also like Lajpat. Yeah, I remember. Like these are the two places that I always knew that the momos were good.
Yeah. Next to that is also, I think, a lot of chaatwalas. Now that I'm thinking of that place, there are a lot of chaatwalas. And in winters, I think it's really nice. Not just the golgappas and all that goes the year round. But coming back to root vegetables, aloo ki chaat and shakar kandi, like you mentioned, is there. There is also aloo tikki. My mouth is watering.
Yeah. Hot aloo tikki. And then, and then just drinking like a good hot cup of tea, like masala chai or adrak wali chai, any time of the day.
Yeah.
I think that was just like a staple in the winter months. You couldn't do without it.
What do you guys put in your chai during winters?
So in my house, a lot of adrak. And then, in the last few years, my father started putting a lot of khade masala also in his chai.
Like?
Which is not so he puts badi elaichi.
Oh.
He'll sometimes even put a bay leaf.
Okay.
And he'll put cloves. And, so he's become very interested in this chai, masala chai, but not with like a pre-mixed or ground masala. He will just put whatever khada masala he thinks of that day.
Do you like that version?
Make a chai like that. It's actually interesting. Like I personally have kind of taken a step back from very, seasoned tea. I don't do that anymore. But I think I still enjoy adrak wali chai. So if I have that feeling of my throat being itchy or it being too cold, then I will kind of make adrak wali chai. Although I don't make the other chai. Oh, you're drinking adrak wali chai.
I just showed Kanika my mug and we're on video. And I'm just like in the bottom one sip of the adrak and elaichi wali chai. This is what I'm having these days.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that certainly does happen with chai. That shift happens to using a lot more adrak. And also like a shift happens. So this is like a daytime or morning, right? You wake up and you have chai, then you have it in the day. And at night, the shift happens to drinking warm cups of milk with good.
Yes. So
Yeah.
when you started talking about the beverages, when you mentioned khade masale wali chai, which I have not had personally, but I don't mind trying. So I've had
Huh.
long and all that, but this is also the season in North India for weddings. I know it's
Yes, it is.
Corona time,
Yeah.
but
Very busy.
otherwise it's a very busy time. You go to weddings, and in North India, if it's an open area where the wedding party is happening, you have little space heaters and you have
Yeah.
little,
Little groups around it.
yeah, little groups. And if you're one of those people who are close to the family and you're staying till late, you will have milk. You'll
Hmm.
have badam ka doodh or some sort of milk that is being prepared at the wedding, and that is, I
Yeah.
think, that's also something from, I can think of Chandni Chowk and Paharganj. So briefly, when my dad was little in Delhi, they used to live in Paharganj, and
Hmm.
Paharganj also has this very old Delhi feel to it.
Right.
He remembers as a kid, my grandma would come back home and then find that the milk is over. Why? Because my dad has made khurchan
Oh, yeah.
and
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
sitting. So
Nice.
that making khurchan and like heating milk in kadhais and then just letting it simmer and simmer and simmer, kaad dete hain doodh ko jaise.
Right.
So that sort of milk, I think I can think of in the north of India, and
Yeah.
especially during weddings you get to have kullad mein milk
Right. Kullad
and
mein milk.
kesar
Yeah.
ka doodh, badam ka
Oh,
doodh
yeah.
and
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. No, that's bringing back memories of attending weddings and, this like very misty evenings, and as it would get colder, everybody would kind of look for something hot to drink. And I'm also thinking of all the warm halwas that they would serve at weddings.
Oh
So
God,
like
moong ki dal.
moong ki dal ka halwa, exactly, that's the one that was coming to mind, because that is very typical of Rajasthani weddings.
Okay.
Rajasthan has like a good variety. I mean, it makes a lot of spicy food and all, like it is known for its spicy food. But actually, Jodhpur also has a huge variety of desserts.
Okay.
If you're a fan of Bengali sweets, you must also go and taste the sweets in Rajasthan, because they make a huge variety. And
I know of ghevar. That's during monsoon. But tell me about moong dal ka halwa and what else is that?
Ghevar, yes, Ghevar, and like they're really good at making all the Bengali mithais also.
Okay.
And then they make moong dal ka halwa is almost always available at any wedding that you go to.
I think that's there in North Indian weddings also now, and we've never made it at home. I've always had it
Yeah,
at a
same
shop
here.
or
Same
wedding.
here. Never ever, never ever had it at home. Like never made it at home. The other thing which is kind of unique to like Jodhpur, I don't know if it's made elsewhere, is the meathi kachori.
Oh.
So, and that's a khoya ki kachori.
Ha.
So, typically kachori has a savory filling. It's never really sweet. But this one is isme khoya hota hai. So it's mawe ki kachori.
I've heard mawe ki
And
kachori.
and then you poke a hole and they give you syrup on the side. This dense sugar syrup. So it's death by sugar.
Oh God.
And you pour as much syrup as you can and then you eat it. It is just out of this world. So I would request that each time that I would go home, that I definitely have to eat that before returning back for college.
So you definitely have a sweet tooth.
Absolutely.
So do I.
Absolutely.
And speaking of sweets and desserts, halwa is there, always there. There is gajar ka halwa, there is besan. Atta, I've started making only now, learning from you. And we should make atta halwa sometime together.
Yeah, I think we should do that together. Yeah.
So
that would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah. So that, and I can also think of pinnis. So mithai jab aate hai, we would either buy pinni or we would, my mom would make these aate ka laddus with all sorts of dry fruit and all that. With corn. Then do you remember any such preparations at home?
So in my house, one standard thing that was always made for Diwali was a besan ki laddu. And I don't remember my mother ever making any other kinds of laddus at home. Like her thing was, agar laddu hone hain, to fir besan ke hone chahiye.
Yeah.
And that was the standard. So even once I moved out for college, I would come back for, we would get a little break in the fall. I would come home and I would always take back besan ke laddu. like a
I've
dabba
had
full.
those from
Oh,
you.
you have? Okay.
Yes, I've been one of those lucky fews where with whom you've shared those. Yeah, so I remember eating those with you.
Yeah, so I used to take those back. But funnily, as much as Punjabis actually love making pinnis and also like panjiri,
Hmm.
my mom never indulged in those things. So we never really had pinni and panjiri
Hmm. Hmm.
in our
Hmm.
house. I know other people used to make them. We were more, my parents also, both of them have always had a very sweet tooth.
Hmm.
And so very partial to like other mithais, like so to the chikki and to
Oh,
rebdi and gajak. Like
yes.
they had to be, there was a constant supply of rebdi and gajak.
Yeah, and that sort of
And
continues till Lodi in January, I think. So that's.
right, it goes up into the festive thing, and so til papdi also. So I remember those more.
Hmm.
And laddu, my only association as a child is more with like besan ka laddu, not so much with others.
Hmm.
But yeah, so in your house, did your mom also make pinni and panjiri
So
or?
yeah, so she didn't make it as often, but she
Hmm.
would call it pinnies, and it'll look very different. It looks very different. It looks like a laddu. It doesn't look as soaked in ghee as the bazaar ki pinni looks like. And that
Mm-hmm.
would be, I think it would have a lot of dry fruit. It had atta. It probably also had suji. I'm not sure, but it had so much
Okay.
mal in it and a lot of ghee in it. So that I remember doing. But with bazaar ki pinni, so in January 2020, my in-laws
Yeah.
visited, and my mom was asking, "Should I send you some mithai? Should I send you anything?" And I said, "Just send me pinni." And she sent me
Uh-huh.
pinni, and I did introduce to my in-laws that, hey, I'll tell you how to have this pinni. So I would microwave a pinni, and we would all have like two
Yeah.
spoons because it was so heavy. And when you microwave it, it
Heavy.
melts
Yeah.
and all the ghee comes down.
Right. Right.
And there
Right.
is so much ghee.
Yeah.
And we usually, I think my mom uses it in
Mm-hmm.
paranthas.
I know that my nani and all would make pinni and panjiri, so I do remember like having a little bit at a time and heating it up, and I do remember that.
I remember gourd would definitely be in the house, and
Yeah.
they would make. My mom has even made this, I think, a few weeks ago, and she probably will make another lot of it.
Huh.
So she, I think, fries up a little bit of ghee, some chopped or broken almonds or whatever dry fruits, and then she
Yeah.
just melts some ghee in it, and then just set it
Yeah.
and cut it. And she puts ginger powder and
Oh, nice.
carom seeds, ajwain, and all that. And this
So it's
is
like masale wala good.
yes, masale wala good, til
Yeah.
wala good,
Yeah.
all those things. So that's something she makes
I
right
see.
now.
Yeah, no, I remember the masale wala good. So my mom, would try and make it at home, but it's also very easily available. Like, so if somebody's coming from Amritsar or from Punjab, they would just request them ki get a bit of fresh gourd because in season gourd is softer. It's just being made. And if you're traveling in Punjab, like along GT Road, during these months, like October, November onwards, you can find people actually making good on the roadsides. So, like farmers who just freshly chopped off their sugarcane crop will then process the juice and make the molasses, and then process it further to make jaggery, which is good,
Right.
and then continue and make shakkar. But like that gourd is the main thing on the roadside that you kind of stop and buy right as they are making it off the kiln, and it's delicious. It is so soft and so like it's buttery, melt in your mouth kind of consistency.
I had some of it yesterday. It was served
Oh yeah.
along with that makki, the roti and sarson ka
Ha
saag that I
ha.
ordered. And
Yeah.
after getting married to a South Indian, I've discovered that there are different varieties of gourd.
True.
And there is a South wala gourd and there is a North wala gourd.
Yes.
And the gora, the more yellowish and I think slightly more softer gourd is the one from the north, and the darker one I think is from the south. I may be wrong, but that's what I.
Actually, there's both. Yeah, no, you're right. Because once my parents moved to Hyderabad, they discovered the quality of gourd there was also excellent. And actually, it used to be softer.
Okay.
So the Maharashtra gourd
Huh.
is actually quite soft, and it stays like that.
Okay.
It doesn't harden too much.
Doesn't crystallize.
Yeah, it doesn't crystallize, whereas the one coming from the north would crystallize. So I'm not sure what the difference is. Is it just the difference in the crop, like the way it's where it's growing, or the way they process it? Like maybe there's a difference in the temperature and whatever and how they do things. But I have now switched. Also, like in terms of the export, the things that are available here. If you go to an Indian grocer in the US, you're more likely to find jaggery that has come from southern India versus
Yes,
jaggery that's come from northern India.
I think so too.
Yeah, so automatically we end up getting that, and it is actually softer.
Yeah, so I think here in Dubai, I get like both varieties, but I get more of the South Indian one, and I'm still learning about it. I'm still not sure, but what I started doing is that I have jaggery in my tea because my in-laws have like introduced it to me and I love it. So the three of us, his mom, dad, and I, we will have jaggery in our tea, and Vijay would have sugar in his tea. But it's really good. I developed a taste for it.
Actually, that's made in Punjab, gur wali chai.
Achha.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you mix your gur, but what is typically done is like while the tea is still boiling in the pan, you just put in gur and take it off soon because you don't want the milk to split. And sometimes the gur can actually do that.
Okay.
Like if you add too much. Yeah.
So that's you're right, and that's how I know of. I think the North Indian gur does that. So in the South Indian gur that they get, I think they just boil it in the beginning and then they add their chai patti.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it doesn't. So I don't know. I'm not sure which variety, but one variety of this particular gur doesn't curdle the milk.
So we need to find out.
So I'll check with my mom and
yeah.
I'll probably put it in notes. I'll ask them about this.
No, that means there's a difference in how they're processing it. Like what are they adding?
Maybe.
To make gur, like how are they actually making it? But I mean, speaking of gur, like fresh shakkar, so in season shakkar that you get after gur, that also is really delicious.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we would look forward to, like you were saying, they served gur with your order of sarson ka saag and makki ki roti, is having roti with ghee and shakkar.
Oh yes, I love it.
Any roti, like even just regular whole wheat chapati, or of course if you can have nothing like makki ki roti, with some shakkar and a whole like a dollop of ghee, like maybe a little warmed up, and then just having that is delicious.
That is delicious.
You can also and you can also do that with rice.
Yeah.
So rice with shakkar and then a little bit of ghee on top.
I've heard of that. I've not tried it.
Oh, it's really good. You must try it. It's very good.
All this talk of saag and makke di roti is also making me think of the different kinds of saag available and leafy greens available. So I can think of like there is rai and there is sarson.
Yeah.
I'm a noob. I don't know the difference between the two. In my house, they make several kinds of these greens. Rai, sarson. There is a little bit of palak. There is bathua and methi. So all these things go into the sarson ka saag in my house. But the other greens that I can think of is sometimes in the Shani bazaars and all that you will get hara lasan. And that's great in chutneys.
Oh, I've never had that actually.
I asked farmers in the farmers market here, and I've asked them, "Ki aapke yahan hara lasan nahi milta?" And they were like, "No, we don't grow that." So I said, "Oh, okay, maybe you should."
So what do you mean by hara lasan? Do you mean like the actual stem of the lasan, or do you mean like the root of the lasan, the garlic?
The whole thing.
Oh, so it's not been ripened and it's just pulled out?
So it looks a lot like hara pyaz.
Okay.
Like spring onion,
right.
Green onion, spring onion. They're different names, I think. But it looks a lot like that. And I think the root, the pulp is slightly smaller. And it's still developing into like multiplying into different parties of the lasan.
Right.
So that's what a hara lasan looks like. And it's great in chutneys like mint and coriander chutney. Hari chutney mein bahut tasty lagta hai.
I've never had that.
I think it's like something you either, it's a good find. If you find it, it's good. But you might not always find it. So that's something I can think of. And but not just that, there are so many other greens. Like you mentioned, mooli. Mooli greens are used all the time. I don't know if in India I've not seen carrot tops being sold.
Yeah, not really. Neither have I.
I've seen them here in the farmers market here, and I've used them in a pesto and all that. So that's
Hmm.
definitely there. But I've used beetroot greens that I found here. I think in India I have not seen beetroot greens,
Yeah.
but then mooli greens I've definitely, they go in our salad.
Okay.
They go in a mooli ki sabzi, mooli ki bhaji sort of a preparation that we sometimes do.
Oh.
What else? There are some other greens also. Do you
So
remember anything?
for us, it's the key or the star ingredient is sarson ka saag. Like you were mentioning, we don't add bathua to the saag when we are making it, but we do use so obviously sarson, plenty of sarson, but
Hmm.
sarson can be bitter, so that's why to kind of mellow its
Hmm.
taste, you add palak and methi.
Yeah.
So those are the three that would go into our saag.
Hmm. Hmm.
And of course you add lasan, you add adrak in later on, or even
Hari
steam it
mirch
together
also.
like hari mirch. You can actually steam all of them together and then cook
Yes.
them down.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We steam it all
Huh.
together. Then I have to bring this up because it's so fresh in my memory and I had it just yesterday
Huh.
and I wish I had more. But the saag that came from that restaurant
Yeah.
was absolutely blended
Oh,
together.
okay.
In our
Yeah. We don't
house,
blend it.
it's guthawa.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't blend it at home. So
Yeah, we don't
so
blend
I'm
it.
going to mention an instrument.
Yeah.
Do you remember madhani?
Yes, madhani. Yes, yes. A madhani is used to churn anything.
Yes.
So depending on how big your madhani is, you could be churning. So I'm sure you've seen it also, like people churning milk to make butter.
Yes.
So like my dadi used to do it until very recently. I don't know if she's still doing it, but she has a madhani and she's used it all her life. My mom had a madhani. So she would do it again for butter, and I'm rubbing my hands in the action of using a madhani. And then of course for the saag.
Yes. Do you have a madhani?
No, I don't have a madhani.
Neither do I.
I want to get one.
Yeah, I'm also thinking. So so other listeners, I don't know if this is a good comparison, but I think it does pretty much what a whisk does, but it's wooden and it's like most of the time it's wooden. I remember my mom also even had a metal version, aluminium
Yeah,
maybe.
you do get steel, aluminium versions also. I think, yeah, you're right. Like you can compare it to a whisk, but it's somewhere between a masher and a whisk.
Yes.
Because it's heavy, it kind of moves things around quite well. Like it's difficult to explain, I guess. I don't know. How would you?
I think it agitates and it and I think it is also used for mashing. So for things like saag, you can definitely use it for mashing,
Yeah.
and otherwise, I think to just move stuff around, it agitates, but not as much as the whisk. And it depends on how it's designed and how deep the grooves are and all that. But I'm not an expert on madhani. I can still think of some herbs, the uses of herbs. So we definitely have. पालक का परोठा, पालक प्याज and methi प्याज के परोठे and methi makki methi ke parothiyan. So these are something parothas are like and stuffed parothas. So like you mentioned mooli ke parotha that you made. So those are other uses that I can think of herbs.
Right. Yeah, definitely in the atta, there's so much supply that you want to use it as much as possible. And then aloo methi, I think that gets made quite frequently.
Oh my God.
Because it's so delicious.
I love it.
Yeah, I love aloo methi and I haven't had it in a long time.
Same here.
Yeah, just getting fresh methi is such a challenge. In the US, you only get these things at an Indian store. You can't find it at the regular grocery store.
Have you tried growing methi using methras?
I have. And I've succeeded, but I haven't tried it since I moved to this place.
Yeah. I've also tried it long time back. I think last year when I went to India, my mom had dried some methi and put it in a jar for me to take, and I forgot to take it.
Oh.
And I lament so much that I didn't remind her and she didn't remind me.
Yeah.
Because I find that the sukhi kasuri methi that you find in from stores and like from different brands and all that, they I think have a lot of tinka. And by tinka, I don't mean actually straw, but I mean
just the stem.
The stem. And that's not really considered nice, at least for me. So the ghar ki sukhi hui methi is like perfect, and that is something I really miss here. Right.
Something came to mind with the methi, but I forgot. Anyway, thinking of other like drinks to warm yourself and all, I can think of like soups.
Oh yeah.
Those become like a staple thing, and like everybody's saying, let's have soup before dinner. Like that's not a common thing you would do during the rest of the year, right? But come winter, and you're very keen to have soup. So that would be a phenomenon that would happen in our household where just before dinner, everyone would kind of warm
Same
up.
here, yeah.
Either make fresh soup, like fresh tomato soup or fresh vegetable soup or something, or you use these Knorr
Yeah,
packets. Yeah,
packets. Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
use those.
Maggie and all.
Yeah, and then everyone gets a little cup of soup and then have dinner. So
Yes.
I guess you're right. Like we eat a lot more in the winters.
Yes,
We're
for
just
sure.
priming ourselves to eat all the time.
Yes, you're right. I think there is so much produce. So you have vegetable preparations, you have preserves, you make a lot more preserves, you're having them in juices, you're having so much dry fruit and ghee and all that in your desserts.
Yeah.
I just have to quickly mention, so this memory I have of sitting on rooftop at my nanny's place, and the entire family is there, my mama and my Masi and everybody. And it was 26 January. We had already seen the parade and everything.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting on top, sitting in the sun, and everyone's peeling lassan.
Okay.
And what is in season during that time is these huge lal mirch. So my parents and I think everyone in the family now loves this chutney that my mom learned, I think from one of her colleagues in office or something long time back. She's been making it, and it's still sitting in my fridge. It's a cooked chutney with lassan and with lal mirch. So I remember seeing the balloons because in Noida, we don't see those balloons that are set after the parade is over. But in Lajpat Nagar, somehow we saw them. I don't know how.
You were able to see them?
Yeah, I was able to see them. And then we could see the last flybys and all that. And then the thing. And I have this very vivid memory that we're all sitting, chatting, and everyone's peeling lassan and all that. So
nice.
That's a much loved chutney and another winter thing that we do. So I can really think of sitting in the sun and eating salad. We would just eat salad just like that. Mooli, gajar.
Yeah, very common.
Or peeling santras and eating that.
Yeah, just put like some salt and pepper on mooli and gajar. And
Amrood.
Oh yeah, amrood also. I was also thinking of like when we were talking about the paranthas and putting, methi and all that, using it up in paranthas. I was also thinking of missi roti.
Oh yes.
Like that becomes a very common thing also. Like so mixing besan and atta, because I don't think we do that much in the summers, right? Like in the summer you want to eat lighter food, eating lighter fulkas. That's another thing. And missi roti with like pyaz and dhania and just thoda sa masala or something. That would be a great breakfast.
Yeah, that's really good. This happens all the year round in my house, but more so during winters. I don't think we make as much dal. In case we do, and there is like only a katori left in the fridge, my mom would just cut some pyaz and dhania and hari mirch and use that cup of dal to just prepare atta. So that's how we used up produce, and there is no waste and there's no leftover. And I think it's similar for like methi and palak paranthas. So just pyaz and little bit of adrak, maybe all those things.
Although by missi roti, I mean not roti which is using leftover dal.
Achha.
Missi roti in Punjab is just besan and atta.
My dadi makes it.
So yeah, the missi roti is just whole wheat atta, like your regular normal atta, but you mix in besan.
Okay.
And then you can add some pyaz to it if you want. You can season it however you want. You might add some dhania to it. You can even add methi to it. So you can make missi roti with as many additions as you like. But it's a mix of besan and atta. So it doesn't need to have, the dal. So the leftover dal is probably an afterthought.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen my grandmother, my dadi, do this. So she makes this dedicated besan wala actual missi roti that you're talking about, the authentic one. So I think what we do is we don't make that so often. Because there is something left in the kitchen, we just use that. So maybe that should be called dal wali paranthi.
But missi roti becomes very common in the winter months. You make that a lot. Even now when I go back, like in my in-laws' place and elsewhere also, like missi roti is a very common breakfast food. So you just make missi roti and you can have that with mattha. Mattha is hung curd.
Nice.
I don't know if Greek yogurt is not quite the equivalent, but mattha is just hung curd. Again, they would chop up maybe some onions, or just season it a little bit and add some fresh herbs to it. And yeah, so you could just have missi roti and matta, and that's it.
Sounds delicious.
Your meal is done.
I can think of safed makhan when you mentioned that.
That's fresh homemade makhan. Yeah. Kind of made all year round, but do you have a specific memory about it, like around the winter?
So safed makhan. So I think we should do a separate episode on milk.
Yeah.
But then in our house, my mom and my dadi, and I think in all our extended families, they all make ghee at home. And you don't always need to make safed makhan from the cream to actually make ghee. You can just put you can just put cream in a kadhai and let it simmer
let it cook.
And all that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But sometimes I think when mummy and other people like dadi or papa or anybody would feel more enthusiastic, they would make a safed makhan, but not always, and it was always a treat. But I mentioned the ghee making process because so many other things come out of it. There is also the byproduct of after you make ghee. You can, if it's not too burnt or too overcooked, the solids, the milk solids left behind, they can be made into, I think you add some atta and sugar to it or something, and you can make a panjiri out of it. Now that doesn't last very long, but that's another kind of panjiri that I've had growing up. There is, so that's something I really like, and it has like a very nice caramel sort of flavor, and that's really tasty. But I haven't had that I think in 2-3 years now, 2 years maybe. The safed makhan definitely went on, was quickly
consumed,
used up on parathas.
Yes.
Sarson ka saag or whatever. So safed makhan is like, it's rare, it's precious, it's tasty. I've heard recently that you can get it in Amul. I don't get it here.
So it's like the unsalted fresh butter. Well, that's interesting. And so while you're talking about byproducts, I'm thinking of like when you churn milk to make butter, you get a little buttermilk.
Yes.
Because you've removed the butter and now you have this buttermilk left. So like my grandmother would either use it to make like atta for that day. Just use it for the dough. You can put it into your dal, etc. if you want. Or I don't know if you...
Thinking of curry right now. I don't know. We've discussed this before, like when we were not recording. But I'm not sure, and I think neither are you, whether curry is seasonal. But curry chawal is also there throughout the year, and it's like loved a lot.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I know you like curry.
Yeah.
I like it, but I'm not crazy about it. Sometimes I really like it. But you have a recipe for subs curry on the blog, and that's the way I like curry.
Okay. You don't like the pakode wali curry?
As a kid, I didn't like pakode wali curry. Now I'm okay with it.
Oh, that's surprising. So it's the reverse for me. I always liked pakode wali curry growing up. It's only now as an adult that I prefer not to make pakoras. One, it's time consuming. Two, you can convince yourself it's healthier to put vegetables in your curry instead of fried, fritters. But like when you're talking about curry, and again, because that comes from dahi. And dahi is technically thought of as a cooling taseer, thandi taseer. But in our household, like in my parents' house, dahi was an all year round thing. There was never a time that we never ate dahi. Summers, maybe the consumption went up a little because we would eat it both afternoon and with dinner. Whereas a lot of people would say that, at night you shouldn't have dahi or whatever. Like, I don't know what the myths surrounding that
My mom says that too now, but I think we have dahi whenever, and I love dahi and I make my own. I know you also try to make your own.
Yeah.
And dahi is there, I think, in winters for parathas because we make so many kinds of parathas. They're always on the side for that. And
it goes really well.
Not just that, I think because you have so much produce, you can make good sort of vegetable pulao, and that's another thing that dahi is on the side for. So that, and do you realize in this entire conversation we have not brought up non-vegetarian food at all?
Exactly. Like, so we haven't spoken about non-vegetarian food, no chicken, and of course it's seasonal eating, so I guess it makes sense that it's stuff that's growing out of the ground, with the changing seasons. But I was also thinking,
But
go ahead.
But coming back to the to season one and talking of tasir, in our house, I think I've heard my parents say and my grandparents say that mutton or certain things like non-vegetarian things, unki tasir garam hoti hai. That's what I've heard.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
dahi makes me think of marinades for such food and all that. So we didn't marinate our chicken, mutton so much, but now I do. And mutton is something that I really love. A certain kind of mutton
Yeah.
curry, a very Delhi style mutton curry, which is bhuno till so long. So that is something
Yeah.
I can think of. I must mention it. And he reminded me of marination, and that reminded me of
Yeah.
non-vegetarian food in general. But then also, I think in recent years, when I started taking interest in cooking and all that, I have definitely made these sort of malai kebabs
Oh,
with
okay.
chicken.
Okay.
And I still do it. I still try to do that sort of a marinade now with just ginger, garlic, a few basic spices, and dahi for a marinade for chicken thighs or something, and then just grilling that. I remember last Christmas I took it to a barbecue. I marinated that and we barbecued that together with friends. So that's like another very wintry thing. Did you guys ever barbecue?
So no, not really. Like no, my parents didn't have a tandoor. I know my nana nani, like they tried smoking fish, and I've seen that my grandparents would have a tandoor, but I don't recall them actually putting chicken in that to make it.
Yeah,
it was definitely used for rotis.
I would like to point out that it wasn't that common. And I think it was only in 2000. I remember the New Year's of 2010 or 2011 at my parents' house, and we had just bought a very small barbecue for our rooftop, and I think we had some friends. We had a lot of extended family over. And that is when I made these malai chicken kebabs, and we didn't use that little barbecue thing as often. So it's not that common in my house.
Yeah, it's not very common.
But we experimented with it, and it was fun. It was nice.
Yeah. No, like, so my parents also, like my dad, they got like the
grill?
Like a grill, like an electric kind of a grill, but only like an OTG.
Okay.
Not exactly a toaster, but like an oven grill kind of a thing. But only in like recent years.
Yeah. Is this the one which has like a rotisserie?
No. This is meant to be like a tandoor. Like it's, it heats up as well as a tandoor. And so you can kind of do like kebabs, etc. But it's your countertop is the word that I was looking for. Like it can actually sit on your counter. Okay. You don't really need to keep it outside.
An OTG.
I mean, an OTG is the closest comparison, but this is not for toasting it's not for toasting your bread, because it is meant to go only to a high temperature. You can't really bake a cake in it. It will burn. Because it's meant to be a tandoor. It's meant to act like a tandoor.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I would like to
super hot.
Find out about that.
Yeah, but it's small. It's not huge. And it's electric. But yeah, I mean, coming back to the thing, like this whole thing of owning barbecues and doing them in your own house is very rare in India. You don't actually do it.
I can just
you can just go get kebabs from an eatery instead of making them at home so much.
But yeah, since we're not really experts on it, I think... but we still have covered a lot of stuff in winters.
Yeah, right. Like coming back to just the idea of seasonal eating. The one thing that I forgot to mention was the palak paneer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like the best palak in India comes in the winter months. You don't get that nice, fresh palak. So I think palak paneer is another thing to enjoy.
You're right. Lately, I think my parents...
Or even put like aloo.
Yeah, aloo palak. My mom makes that. Aloo palak and mixed veg and palak and all that. That is something she makes. I don't make it very often. I usually just end up making dal palak now. But yeah, those are some excellent things that we've mentioned. And I think we should also think of the change of season. Anything when the winters are ending that you can think of?
I can think of like closer to Holi things changing. Well, I do think of like Lodi as one point in which, people start looking forward to kind of milder temperatures. Peak winters in India are very short. They're only about a month or month and a half, right? Like from December until...
North India.
Yeah, in North India. Like by Feb, typically things start changing. I associate a lot of the sweet stuff and til ke laddu, til papdi, peanuts and all. I associate that with Lodi because you get to enjoy them around the fire, the
Lodi, yes.
bonfire. But after that, I guess the major change of season is around Holi when you finally start getting it's hot enough that you can actually play with water outside.
Right.
Or you hope that it's hot enough on that day. Very often
Yeah.
it's not. And so one thing I can think of is Thandai. During that time, like
During
people start
Holi,
making
yes.
during Holi.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one change of season.
Yeah.
I've recently learned of kanji. Again, surprisingly, my parents, did not drink kanji or make it at home. But you had some experience with that.
Yeah, so I've had kanji on both sides of the family. My mom's family and my dad's family. I think both sides do make kanji, and it's made using black carrots and purple carrots or black carrots. I don't know what's the correct one, but you get them only during that time, during change of season, I think. And you make that. And I used to, as a kid, fall sick. I used to catch like a sore throat after drinking that because it has rye, and rye brings a lot of khatai to it. So
yeah, it's very pungent,
and it's one of those things that are lacto fermented, and it's like very. I think it's much loved during that season, and that sort of marks the ending of the winter season, and that is when I think you transition slowly to things that are cooler, like Thandai during Holi and all that.
Yeah. And I was also wondering, is there anything very rare but unique that you can only get in the winter months, so that you think of, especially since you have that whole old Delhi association.
I know what you're asking me.
Yeah, I'm giving you a lot of hints.
I know. Yeah, you're asking me about Daulat Ki Chaat. Oh my God, that is heavenly. That is, I don't know why it's called that, or maybe I did read up that there was a guy called Daulat who probably invented
it. Yeah,
I think it uses tartaric acid with cream or something whipped, and it's left overnight. It's made in a very specific season, jab oos padti hai, and that sort of makes it set or something. I'm not sure, but if you ever visit Old Delhi during the start of winters, you will find these people on cycles with these little baskets or something on their carriers at the back, and they would cover it with some sort of chalni sort of a fabric.
Muslin, like really fine muslin.
Yes, muslin actually. And there is like even chandika work, and there is some saffron in it, and there is some chopped dry fruits that they top it up with, and khoya. Oh my God. You take a little bite and it's like a little cloud that melts in your mouth. It is heavenly.
Yeah, it's impossible to describe, I think. Like, I have not had Daulat Ki Chaat in Delhi, but I tasted I guess the closest approximation of it in an Indian restaurant in New York. And it was, even that was delicious. So what you're describing is obviously way beyond that and goes above. I can't imagine how that
maybe.
Yeah. And
next time we visit during that time, I think you and I, if we visit during the same time, we must try that.
Must plan that. And actually, as you're talking about it, so I was recalling there was one guy, one show, and I think it's British, but I can't remember the host. And he was kind of flabbergasted at the whole idea of people capturing the essence of dew and making something, edible out of it. And then he goes to Old Delhi and he experiences it and he watches them do it and sell it. And he's like, oh my God, this actually does happen. But I don't know who it was.
We should find out.
Yeah, I'll have to go do some research. I'll have to check.
But that's very accurate.
Yeah.
It is the essence of dew and the season, and the fact that I think those misty mornings in the north of India, that misty thing is the misty weather in the morning and all that is the start of that season. And I think that's a very special feeling to experience that, to have grown up seeing the change of season during that time, and and thinking about the things to come and the times to come and the time with family, to be sitting and relishing all this great produce and just laughter and all that. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. And I think the sun becomes your friend, right? Like in India, otherwise the
Yeah.
whole year you're running away from it. But for these
Right.
brief 3 or 4 months, you can actually relish sitting out and, sleeping on a charpai or just sitting out and eating and,
Yeah, and I think also making the most of the shorter days because the nights are really cold and our houses aren't really built
for cold weather.
keeping
Insulated,
for cold
yeah.
weather. So
Yeah.
the houses in North India aren't really built like
Not
that. So you
insulated.
make the most of the time outdoors in the sun. And I
Yeah.
think it's very important also for North Indians to, while buying houses or generally, I think in North India, it's very important that आपके घर में धूप आती है.
Do you get any kind of
Yes, so that
sunlight?
is
Yeah.
important during
Yeah.
winters, I think, and especially if you have like older grandparents in the house, you will know that older people love to sit out, and I think it's
Therapeutic.
therapeutic. It is like definitely, it's a beautiful
Yeah,
time.
it's a good season. If you want to enjoy winters, you should just go to India. Enjoy them there instead of freezing in the cold in Northern America, at least.
Yeah. Visit North India during the winters. That's the best time. And that's what I've told a lot of friends here as well who are from different countries who want to visit India. I said always go during winter time. Go between December to February.
I guess maybe October, anytime after October, maybe until March.
Right.
When it's still kind of cool, you can tolerate the weather and you'll get a good variety of food to eat. On that note, I think we should wrap this up.
Yes.
It's been 2 very interesting conversations about seasonal eating in India, and we will come back soon with something equally interesting where we can talk our heads off.
Right.
Yeah. So in the meantime, please tune in and write to us. Let us know what else you would like to hear from us.
And if you can think of any recipes that we mentioned that are not on the blog, and if you want us to talk about them, let us know.
Find us at www.kitchenpostcards.com, and you can find us as Kitchen Postcards on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye.